Okay, as you can see, this has been a struggle getting this in, and pretty much the only way. The last, I don't know, 1 inch, I can't seem to get in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of all thread and I'm going to put a washer and nut on that end and a washer and nut on this end and just start tightening it up, and it should pull everything into place the way I hope it will be. So, but we're going to do that tomorrow. Today is over, and we'll see you in the morning. Okay, so we put the bolt all the way through the head and and put nuts on both ends, and now we're going to kind of cinch them up a bit and see if we can get this thing to pull in where it needs to be. I mean, it's almost there. We're, you know, a ½ inch away. So let me get a crescent wrench here. All right, pull it on in. It's actually working better than I even thought it would possibly work. Okay, you see it. It's there. It spins freely. It misses by 1/4 of an inch. Well, we got a ½ inch right there, which is pretty good, and that's about 3/8. So, but we've got a spin. It's definitely off balance, as you can see, but it just is what it is. And I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and spin it slow, and it'll be fine. But we made it. Okay, now we're going to take everything apart and then have a look at it and see, just see how centered our hole is, and we'll go from there. So we'll be back as soon as we get things cleaned up a little bit. Okay, we're looking at center here, and I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get over to with my centering tool. Doesn't look like it. Oh, but I have some extensions. They're not super accurate, but they will give me that badly needed extra distance. Oops, hang on here. There we go. Oops, come on. All right. We'll back up a little bit. Slide our center in there and see just how far off we are. Woo-wee! We're off. So I can see we need to come this way for sure. Tighten this as good as we can. Okay, and we'll get a pivot going and then loosen the other side. All right, so let's just see if we can slide this thing over a bit. Yeah, fat chance. But we could use the, yeah, there it goes. Okay, a little bit more down this way. Nope. Threw that one off. Let's see. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, let's tighten that up and See what we can come up with. We are very close. Okay, I don't know if you can see the numbers, but we're right about, we're sitting at about 10 thousandths out. And I want to get it pretty close. So at this point, we're going to tap it just a little bit right there and see what we come up with. Still 10. And that is right there. Now we're about 8, so that's good. And we're still tapping right there. All right, we're still kind of wanging it right there. Okay, let's just try it out and see how it's going to spin. Well, good morning, Nick Collier here, and we are continuing on this monstrous block of steel project. What we've gotten to is, I'm noticing that these bolts, they're okay, but I can't quite get them tight enough. So I need to kind of beef everybody up a little bit. Plus this center bolt that goes through the center and attaches back here. Remember, I made the hook for that. It just doesn't feel strong enough. So I'm going to have to do something with that. And I think what I might do is disconnect the hook and build an actual clamp that the bolt can go through and a nut can hold it so that it's a good solid grip. Because I keep tightening the bolt and it kind of feels like the hook is starting to unravel a little bit. So, you know, this is a lot of weight. I think this weighs probably about 70, 80 pounds. And this over here probably weighs about 30 or 40. So, you know, we're sitting with a lot of weight. And all I need to do is start cutting and have that thing jump off on me. And, you know, it's not going to fall off the lathe or anything like that. But it'll certainly move. And then I have to go back and reset all of my settings. So we're going to play with clamping this back down and unloosening these bolts. And I built a couple of spacers for the bolts themselves. And we're going to put the spacers in there and then square up the bolts in the holes so that everything is nice and even, so that we don't have it cocked just a little bit. And then as it moves, it works its way back to even again, and which means that it's going to be loose. Let me have a little sip here. So, let's get busy on that part. I'm going to go get a couple clamps and I'll be back in a minute. All right, I don't know if it's that easy to see, but you can see that this bolt is bottomed out right onto that casting, and there's no room on the other side of the bolt. So what I made is these little spacers, and they're going to go in place of where the bolt is, and then the bolt will come in behind them, or the nut, I'm sorry. And that's going to get it to stand out just a little bit and give me a little bit more room to put a wrench on that. So we'll go ahead and do that. I got this in my hand, so we can't do it while I got it in my hand. All right. Okay, with this U-bolt, instead of building a whole new bracket and machining everything and getting everything all beefed up, I thought, well, maybe if I just come back in and run a bunch of weld passes behind this and beef this whole thing up really good, and then weld a weld pass in the contact where it makes contact with this and grind it back so that it's nice and flat, we might be able to pull off a good grip with that like it is. So I did that, and now we're going to give it a try and see how it's going to work. And I'll move you over here. And we will crank on this a bit and see what we can come up with. I think maybe I'll put a washer behind this just to kind of give it something to kind of move against. All right, keep your fingers crossed. I don't know, has that thing cooled off enough yet? Let's give it a chance to cool off real good before we take it any further. We've got other things to do, other fish to fry. Well, good morning, campers, and we are continuing to work on this little project here. It's a beautiful California sunny day out, and a little chilly, but not bad. And yesterday, and I should have filmed it, I kicked myself afterwards, but yesterday, because what I have to do is I have to bore this hole, and I can't put a spacer between the plate and the piece. I had to bore the hole so that I could run my bit all the way up to the face plate and not hit the face plate. So, you know, I thought about it, and the boring bar I have, and I'm going to show that to you, comes in, well, you can kind of see it this way. It comes in at a 90. And that wasn't, you know, that was going to be a 1/4 inch from the end, which is, you know, way too much room that I'm not going to cut. So I had to make a boring bar that had the bit coming out at about a 20-degree angle. Let's check that one out. So yesterday I decided, okay, I may as well just go in and make it real quick. Yeah, real quick. It took, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. That's pretty quick. So anyhow, I was first going to make a square hole, and I didn't have the tool to do that. But I scrounged around and I found a round boring bar tool bit and drilled my hole and put the bit in there and got that set up. And then, of course, the bar, which is 4142, which is pretty stout material, wasn't big enough for the holder, so I had to make a sleeve to go into that. And that, you know, that took all day, or at least all half of the day. So now we are actually at the point to where I'm about ready to start going in and boring. But first, as you can see, the hole isn't big enough. So we need to drill that hole out. Everything is all locked down here, good and solid. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and throw a couple of bigger drill bits in there and drill that hole out, and we will be ready to continue. I'm going to put you up above so you can see from up there. Okay, we're gone up to the next size bit. We're going to get a little bit of oil here. Move some tools out of the way, and let's get started. And at the same time, this is going to test all my connectors and make sure that it's not going to start moving around on me. So let's get a little oil in that hole. looks like we're taking about 100 thousandths off of each side, which is good. Okay, we started the process of boring. We've made 2 passes and we can take up to 30 thousandths at a time, which isn't too bad for this boring car. Okay, now we're going to take this piece of hex stock and we're going to make a bolt out of it, cutting from about right there down. And in fact, right over here, we are in the process of cutting the first one. We need 2. So we're going to take it down to the thread size and then thread the bottom probably, 2 inches of it. And then the top part will be just a slide fit. So, and you know, this little lathe, this little south bend, it's cutting 40 thousandths at a time, which means that it's taking 80 thousandths worth of material off of that, off of the diameter of this piece, and I'm just amazed that it's just plugging along like a champ. So we'll be back. Well, good morning, Nick Collier here, and let's see, middle of January sometime. We're still working on this damn project. I spent all day yesterday boring out that hole. It's very slow at 30 thousandths a cut, which is all this little boring bar can handle. And I should have used a little bit thicker material, but I didn't have it at the time. So there we go. So we're going to continue boring this out today. And at the same time, we're going to be over on the little lathe working on the 2 bolts that go in the tops of the rams. We'll bring you in up to speed on that here in a minute. we still got another, oh, probably almost a half an inch to go before we even get close to our measurement. So, you know, at 30 thousandths a pop, we're talking 8 or 9 passes at least. And each pass takes about, oh, I don't know, 20 minutes because this thing has to travel so slow. So stick with us. We're gonna, well, this is gonna be kind of boring, but you know, you'll have fun watching because, you know, you're just sitting in your chair there having a good time. So, all right, let's turn the thing on and get rolling. Okay, as I said, while we're working on that other piece, we're turning down these 2 potential bolts. Now this one's pretty well turned down to where I want it to go. This part here is going to have threads on it, and this is going to be a little shoulder to allow me to stay centered in the hole. You know, you can see that the one I'm working on now needs to come down a bit further. So let's crank her up and bring it down a bit further. Make sure our center is tight. And where are we at here? Let's just take 30 this time. 10, 20, 30. Which is a hell of a cut for this little lathe. But it seems to want to handle it. And actually what I've been taking is 40. But I'm not sure where I left off. So we'll take 30 just as a safety precaution. Now I built myself a vent for the big lathe. It looks like I'm going to have to build one here, you know, just to suck out the air, because this is getting pretty smoky. Okay, while all that racket's going on over there, we're going to take some measurements, and basically we're going to measure our other piece because it's what we want anyhow. And we've got, what do we have, 1,540, and we're now at 1,590, so we need to take 50 thousandths off. So that would be 20, 40. Let's take 40 and then come back for that last 10. Okay, so we got both of our shafts cut, and now what we have to do is come back and cut threads on this this part right here. And so let's go over to the actual threads and take some measurements, see what we can come up with. Okay, so there's the inner ram threads. Let's see if we can find something that's going to match that. And I would say somewhere right around in here, and I'm guessing it's probably going to be this. No, it isn't the same thread. It's a smaller thread. So maybe that's 11. Here's 14. Let's try 14 threads per inch. See what we come up with. I'm going to need more light. That's not it. Um, 12. I know it's not 12. No. So maybe 16. 14, 16. There it is. All right, let's confirm that. Can you see it? Yep, the threads match just about perfectly. Well, in fact, they do match perfectly. I don't know if you can see it or not. My big hand might be in the way. Let's see if we can get that a little bit closer. There we go. Oops. So we got 16 threads per inch, and that's looking good.